I taught for many years at an art centre, and one of the pieces of advice I would give to students was that I thought that they were very fortunate because they were doing what they enjoyed and wanted to do. Most people don't. Now, if you get into the art business, you may not make a lot of money, but you will have a good life because you'll be doing what you want to do. And I think that's very important. So the reason I make pots is I like it. And if people didn't buy them, I'd still make them. They get to a point, of course, where you've got so many, you either give them away or you sell them. But I do it because I want to do it. I have to do it. I think it's a compulsion. I don't feel particularly happy if I'm not down in the studio every day doing something. That's a big part of my life. Well, in many ways, when I was at school, I hated it. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what there was out there in the world. Nobody had told me, nobody had showed me. So when I left school, the grammar school, at 16 and a half, I did the modern equivalent of running away to sea. I joined the Air Force, and I joined the Air Force for 10 years. It gave me an education that I hadn't had at school. I had to travel, I had to meet people, and I saw things that I didn't know existed. And one of the things I saw was being an artist and being a potter and a sculptor, in actual fact, because that's what I started off being, more a sculptor than a potter. But my medium seems to be clay, and I like clay. A few teapots up here that I've just kept for various reasons. And one of the things I just want to mention is that on all my teapots, where this strap comes down, I've always made little faces on them. It just seems to be like a bit of a signature, really. Handmade things, of course, have a bit more life because they're not all identical. And no matter how good you are at making things, there's always a slight variation. And making things by hand means that they become slightly different and become more natural. And there's more life to them. Makes a lot of noise. By pushing in, pressing down, you push that piece of clay into the centre of the wheel. And that's called centering. And until you've centered the clay, you can't make a thing. Now, that, as far as pottery is concerned, is the hardest thing to learn. It looks easy. I've been doing it for 40, 50 years. So that's why. One of the things about our house, we've always had real materials, stone, wood, the natural things, and not things that come perhaps from a superstore somewhere. And that's the way, I think as a potter, as a craftspeople, that's the way we tend to look. We like things that are just real and natural. And Jack, of course. We have a society that's predicated on buy things, they break and you throw them away. When you have things that are made by a person, a craftsman, an artist, that kind of thing doesn't happen because what you tend to do is to treasure the object itself. Not that it has value, but it has something of a person within its make. So they have, as far as interest, art, and love of objects. And potters, of course, make objects, and that's exactly what I do. It's led me from England to Canada and a marvellous life, and I'm still making stuff. how many bloody shots do you want in my hands here, you know?